An AI has just translated the oldest language on Earth, and what it revealed was not a prophecy, but a warning. From the volcanic buried Herculaneum scrolls to 5,000-year-old Proto-Elamite inscriptions, AI is doing what humans cannot: decoding lost languages. Every deciphered character eerily aligns with modern events, as if a prophecy is slowly unfolding. And today, you will witness 18 instances where AI has detected warnings of pandemics, natural disasters, and even the collapse of civilizations encoded within ancient texts. You may think you know everything about Mesopotamia or understand the secrets of Akkadian cuneiform. This video might make you think again. The Danube script stands as one of the most puzzling mysteries in human history, a collection of strange symbols carved onto artifacts more than 7,000 years ago. Archaeologists first discovered these markings along the Danube River in parts of modern Serbia, Romania, and Bulgaria, and at first many believed they were simple decorations. Yet their shapes and repetitions looked too deliberate, too structured to be random scratches on clay. For decades, scholars could not agree on whether the Danube script was a true writing system or just artistic symbols. The lack of a translation key, like the Rosetta Stone for Egyptian hieroglyphs, left researchers divided and often frustrated. Some suggested these marks belonged to a culture advanced enough to record knowledge, but too early for us to decode with traditional methods. Artificial intelligence changed everything. By training neural networks on thousands of recorded symbols, researchers asked the machine to find hidden patterns that humans had missed. The results were stunning. AI revealed recurring sequences, consistent structures, and possible signs of grammar. Instead of meaningless scratches, the Danube script showed evidence of real communication, maybe even the first writing system in human history. If this is true, the Danube script is older than Egyptian hieroglyphs or Sumerian cuneiform, which would rewrite the timeline of literacy. It suggests that long before the famous cradles of civilization, an unknown European culture had already developed complex ways to record thought. The symbols might have carried religious meaning, astronomical records, or warnings meant for future generations. So now the question becomes unavoidable. If the earliest voices of human history were speaking from Europe, what other secrets about our beginnings are still waiting to be uncovered? Babylon has always been surrounded by myth, yet many of its original writings were damaged or broken into pieces. For years, scholars could only guess at what was missing, leaving gaps in our understanding of one of history's most powerful empires. These clay tablets, written in Akkadian, carried laws, poems, and warnings, but time and erosion left many unreadable. Artificial intelligence gave these fragments a second life. Researchers used recurrent neural networks, training them on thousands of complete lines until the model could predict missing sections with remarkable accuracy. What once took decades of human study now happens in moments, and whole passages that had been silent for thousands of years suddenly returned. Some of the restored lines spoke of ancient floods that swept through the land, rituals that were forbidden even in their own time, and cosmic events that the Babylonians believed were messages from the heavens. The discovery shocked historians because it blurred the line between myth and history. Instead of being only stories, some of these tales may reflect real disasters or political struggles. This breakthrough does not just repair old literature, it reshapes how we see Babylon itself. It reveals a culture trying to preserve memory, warn about danger, and perhaps pass down truths too risky to write openly. But if Babylon still had unfinished business hidden in shattered tablets, how many more civilizations are waiting for AI to bring their voices back? The Dead Sea Scrolls have always been surrounded by mystery, but one scroll in particular changed everything when AI examined it. For decades, experts believed the Great Isaiah Scroll was the work of a single writer, carefully copying words in the desert. The idea of one scribe alone gave the scrolls an almost sacred unity, as if the text had flowed from one mind. Artificial intelligence shattered that picture. By analyzing the smallest strokes and curves of each letter, a machine learning model detected patterns no human eye could notice. The results revealed that at least 2 scribes wrote the Isaiah scroll, passing the work between them with subtle differences in their style. This discovery changed how scholars see the community behind the scrolls. Instead of lone mystics, there may have been organized groups that copied, edited, and hid texts in caves during times of danger. Some scrolls might have been more than religious writings. They could be coded manuals of survival, secret philosophies, or even protests against powerful rulers. If a single scroll held so many hidden layers, what other shocking truths might AI uncover in the rest of the collection? When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, it buried the Roman town of Herculaneum under ash and fire, sealing away an entire library. The scrolls inside were reduced to black lumps of charcoal, so fragile that any attempt to open them by hand would destroy them. For centuries, scholars believed these texts were lost forever, trapped in silence. Artificial intelligence finally broke that silence. By combining high-resolution CT scans with machine learning, researchers taught algorithms to virtually unwrap the scrolls without touching them. Line by line, the software revealed Greek writing hidden in the carbon, words that had not been seen in nearly 2,000 years. The content was even more surprising than the technology itself. Many passages came from Epicurean philosophers, debating pleasure, pain, and the meaning of death. Some writings hinted at radical ideas about the soul and power, ideas that could have been dangerous to share in their own time. These were not only abstract reflections, they were bold challenges to the order of Roman society. If this daring philosophy was waiting inside Herculaneum, what other explosive truths might still be hidden in the libraries of the ancient world? Akkadian cuneiform is one of the oldest writing systems in the world, pressed into clay tablets more than 4,000 years ago, yet it remained painfully slow to translate. For decades, only a handful of scholars could read the wedge-shaped signs, and even then, one tablet might take months to decode. The vast archives of Mesopotamia sat in silence, filled with royal decrees, myths, and trade records that few people could ever access. Artificial intelligence has turned that silence into sound. By training models on thousands of known translations, researchers created a system that can scan an ancient tablet and produce a readable text in minutes. This leap is not just about speed, it changes how much we can understand at once. Suddenly, instead of a few hundred lines, whole libraries can be explored. The discoveries are more than historical notes. Some texts reveal fears of betrayal and collapse, warnings carved into clay that sound eerily modern. Others record rituals meant to protect communities, or political strategies to outmaneuver enemies within. What once looked like myth may in fact be coded messages, desperate attempts to preserve survival strategies for future generations. By unlocking these voices, AI has not only expanded our knowledge of Akkadian culture, it has also shown how fragile civilizations saw themselves. If even the most powerful empires left hidden warnings in their scripts, what might we uncover next in the languages of Greece and beyond? Ancient Greece left behind countless stone inscriptions, but many were damaged by time, leaving entire sections unreadable. For centuries, historians tried to rebuild these texts line by line, often relying on guesswork and incomplete evidence. The gaps meant that key details about politics, culture, and even religion were lost in the cracks of history. A new tool called Pythia, created by researchers at Oxford and DeepMind, changed the game. This artificial intelligence system was trained on thousands of examples of Greek writing, learning style, grammar, and structure. When shown a damaged inscription, Pythia predicts what missing words might have been there, offering multiple possibilities within seconds. The results are remarkably close to human reconstructions, but far faster and more flexible. Some of the restored lines suggest political maneuvers hidden from public view, cultural taboos that shape daily life, and even cover-ups that rulers may have wanted erased from memory. These are not just broken stones made whole again, they are hidden stories finally given a voice. By filling in the blanks, AI is not only preserving Greek heritage, but it is forcing us to rethink the honesty of history itself. If Greek inscriptions carried secret power moves, what could the undeciphered scripts of other civilizations still be hiding? Some of the world's most mysterious scripts remain unread, and two of the greatest puzzles are the Indus Valley symbols and the carvings of Rongorongo from Easter Island. The Indus Valley script, created more than 4,500 years ago, covers seals and pottery from one of the first urban civilizations, yet no one has ever cracked its meaning. Rongorongo is just as strange, with long rows of glyphs carved into wooden tablets that seem like messages left behind by a lost culture. Without a translation key, scholars argued for years over whether these marks were even language or simply ritual symbols. But when AI models were trained to study their sequences, something new appeared. The algorithms detected repeating patterns and structural rules, hints that these scripts followed real linguistic systems. This was not random decoration, it was communication waiting to be heard. The implications are enormous. If the Indus Valley script is decoded, it could reveal details about one of the earliest cities on Earth, from trade and religion to politics. If Rongorongo is cracked, it may uncover knowledge about migration, astronomy, or beliefs that disappeared with the island's collapse. So the question now is simple but thrilling. Which of these silent codes will AI unlock first, and what forgotten truths will come pouring out? The oracle bones of China hold some of the earliest known writing on Earth, carved onto ox bones and turtle shells more than 3,000 years ago. During the Shang dynasty, rulers used them to ask the gods questions about war, weather, and harvests, leaving behind cryptic records of their fears and hopes. Over 4,500 characters have been discovered, yet the meaning of most symbols is still unknown. Artificial intelligence has started to lift the veil. By scanning thousands of fragments and training models to recognize shapes and sequences, researchers built systems that can identify patterns invisible to human eyes. These tools not only connect broken pieces, but also propose translations in real time, offering clues about the grammar and vocabulary of early Chinese. The results are both fascinating and unsettling. Some inscriptions speak of omens tied to natural disasters, while others hint at betrayals or political struggles hidden within ritual language. What once looked like fortune-telling now appears as coded state records, revealing how deeply fear and power shaped ancient rule. If oracle bones hide messages about survival and authority, then what other prophetic voices might AI uncover in the languages of the Americas? The Maya created one of the most complex writing systems in the ancient world, filling temples and codices with thousands of intricate glyphs. Experts tried to separate these symbols by hand, a slow and exhausting process that left many texts unread. The details of Maya history, their rulers, wars, and even their astronomical records remained hidden behind layers of stone and faded manuscripts. Artificial intelligence transformed the field almost overnight. Researchers trained specialized models to segment individual glyphs automatically, a task that once took months but now takes only seconds. By identifying each symbol with high precision, AI has given scholars the ability to read inscriptions more quickly and compare them across vast collections. The discoveries are striking. Some glyphs once thought to be decorative were revealed as names of kings, dates of battles, and records of blood sacrifices. Others described astronomical events that shaped rituals and guided political power. This new clarity shows that the Maya were not just recording time, they believed they could control it through sacred writing. The more glyphs AI unlocks, the more the Maya world comes into focus, revealing a civilization obsessed with power, death, and the cycles of the cosmos. What once seemed like art now looks like coded instructions for survival and dominance. If the Maya were trying to master time itself through writing, what other civilizations might have hidden equally dangerous ambitions in their scripts? Among the scripts that shaped early civilizations, Ugaritic and Linear B stand out as gateways to forgotten worlds. Ugaritic, carved into clay tablets more than 3,000 years ago in ancient Syria, preserves myths and early Semitic traditions, while Linear B, used in Mycenaean Greece, records the foundations of Greek culture. For centuries, both scripts were nearly impossible to decode outside a small circle of specialists, leaving most of their stories locked away. Artificial intelligence has pushed those barriers aside. By using advanced neural decipherment models, researchers achieved a dramatic leap in accuracy, reaching over 67% success with Linear B cognates and measurable progress with Ugaritic. These models test structural similarities and predict word matches, effectively turning broken fragments into meaningful sentences. The translations have revealed early political systems, religious practices, and evidence of complex trade networks. Even more striking, some lines hint at rituals that blended faith and power, suggesting that authority was often enforced through sacred ceremonies. This new knowledge reshapes our picture of the Bronze Age, showing cultures more connected and sophisticated than once believed. If AI can give voice to civilizations that vanished thousands of years ago, what might happen when it is turned on the vast symbols of the Nazca Desert? The Nazca Desert in Peru holds one of the strangest mysteries on Earth: giant geoglyphs etched into the ground more than 1,000 years ago. These massive shapes of animals, humans, and symbols can only be fully seen from the sky, leaving scholars to wonder how and why they were made. For decades, only a few hundred designs were known, but their purpose remained hidden in the dust. Artificial intelligence has nearly doubled that number. By scanning high-resolution drone images frame by frame, AI detected more than 1,300 new figures, some stretching over 100 feet wide and others faint enough to vanish without digital help. The sheer scale of this discovery changes our view of the Nazca people, showing they were far more ambitious and organized than once believed. The meaning is still debated. Some researchers see religious offerings to the gods, others believe they may be maps of the stars or even coded messages across the desert. What is certain is that many of the new shapes do not appear in other Nazca art, hinting at cultural exchange or ideas that evolved over centuries. If a desert could hide thousands of drawings in plain sight, what other buried codes might AI uncover in scripts still waiting to be read? Deep in the deserts of Iran lies one of history's most stubborn codes, the Proto-Elamite script, carved into clay more than 5,000 years ago. Unlike other systems, it has no known relatives, no bilingual texts, and no Rosetta Stone to guide the way. For more than a century, scholars have struggled with its thousands of strange signs, unsure if they represented numbers, names, or grammar. Artificial intelligence is finally making cracks in the wall of silence. By training deep learning models on hundreds of tablet images, researchers taught machines to detect repeating groups, frequency clusters, and possible symbol orders. The pattern suggests that Proto-Elamite was not just random marks, but a structured language that may contain full records of trade, religion, and law. The implications are huge. If these tablets are fully decoded, they could reveal the inner life of a civilization older than the Persian Empire and as influential as Mesopotamia. Some experts even believe hidden within the script are warnings or political truths that ancient rulers never wanted outsiders to see. If AI is beginning to break the silence of Proto-Elamite, then how much more could it reveal when applied to texts deliberately erased and written over in later centuries? In the Middle Ages, parchment was precious, and many manuscripts were scraped clean and reused, leaving ghostly traces of older writings beneath the new ink. These overwritten texts, known as palimpsests, were nearly impossible to recover with the naked eye, hiding knowledge that had been erased for centuries. Artificial intelligence has brought those hidden layers back to life. Using hyperspectral imaging, researchers scan pages under multiple wavelengths of light, then let machine learning models separate the faded traces of earlier text. Entire passages that had been buried reappear, revealing secrets that range from lost biblical commentary to forgotten works of medicine and science. The discoveries are often surprising. Some erased lines include theories that clashed with church doctrine, while others suggest medical knowledge far ahead of its time. These palimpsests show us that history was not only written, but sometimes deliberately suppressed, with valuable insights hidden under new narratives. By peeling back the layers, AI is not just saving words, it is exposing the choices of people who decide what should be remembered and what should be forgotten. If entire libraries can hide beneath a single page, what could be revealed when AI turns its gaze beneath the very ground we walk on? For centuries, archaeology meant digging blindly, often guided by luck, but now AI is changing that game completely. By combining satellite images, climate data, and terrain maps, machine learning models can identify subtle patterns that mark the presence of buried cities, temples, and even lost roads. One system flagged potential sites invisible to the human eye, yet when checked, they matched ancient trade routes and migration paths. This new approach saves years of guesswork and reduces the risk of damaging fragile remains. It also suggests that entire civilizations may still lie hidden under modern landscapes, waiting for the right signal to be uncovered. AI is no longer just a translator of ancient texts, it has become a digital compass pointing to secrets underground. If machines can already tell us where to dig, then what forgotten voices might rise when the soil finally gives up its stories? In rural China, a unique script called Nushu was once used only by women, passed down through embroidery, songs, and letters. It was more than writing, it was a secret voice in a society where women were often silenced. As time moved on, the script nearly disappeared, leaving only fragments scattered across villages. Artificial intelligence has now stepped in to rescue it. With just a few dozen surviving examples, researchers trained models to recognize patterns and generate new translations. The results prove that even with limited data, AI could expand the language's reach, preserving messages that once gave comfort and solidarity to women who had no other outlet. This revival is not only about saving words, it is about restoring identity and memory to voices that history almost erased. If Nushu can rise again through machines, what other hidden languages could be waiting for their second life? Middle Persian, the language of empires that ruled from the 3rd to the 7th century, survives today only in weathered inscriptions and fragile manuscripts. These texts contain the voices of kings, priests, and scholars, but most of their meaning was trapped in fading scripts that only a few experts could read. Whole passages about religion, law, and political life were locked away, hidden from the modern world. A new AI toolkit called Parsig is now breaking that barrier. This system can tokenize words, analyze grammar, and translate phonemes, essentially unpacking Middle Persian line by line. It is the first digital tool built specifically for this script, and it has already exposed references to power struggles, religious disputes, and cultural shifts that never made it into official history. Instead of being only dry records, these texts reveal tensions between rulers and subjects and even signs of knowledge that was deliberately concealed. By decoding Middle Persian, AI is not just helping historians, it is pulling back the curtain on a forgotten empire that shaped much of the ancient world. If Parsig can turn dusty inscriptions into revelations, what might happen when similar tools are aimed at the sacred symbols of Egypt? For centuries, Egyptian hieroglyphs were seen as frozen art, carved into stone and painted on temple walls, their beauty admired, but their meanings often lost. Even after the Rosetta Stone unlocked the code in the 19th century, many details about grammar, symbolism, and hidden layers of expression remained unclear. Traditional methods could only go so far, since thousands of glyphs varied in shape, size, and regional style. Now AI is entering the field with a method called neural style transfer. By training on countless images, the system can separate the artistic look of a glyph from its structural meaning. This allows researchers to strip away decorative flourishes, compare the skeleton of symbols, and even reconstruct missing parts of damaged texts. In recent tests, AI successfully restored broken inscriptions with over 80% accuracy, giving scholars a clearer view of prayers, political decrees, and secret rituals that had faded over time. With this technology, hieroglyphs are no longer silent pictures, but living words that can tell stories again. But if machines can breathe life into sacred Egyptian symbols, could they also recover knowledge from scripts that humans have never managed to decode at all? Imagine an entire library from ancient Rome, filled with lost wisdom, but carbonized and buried by Mount Vesuvius for 2,000 years. The scrolls from Herculaneum are so brittle they would crumble to dust at a touch. They were considered unreadable, until the Vesuvius challenge. This was a monumental high-stakes tech race, offering $1 million prize to anyone who could virtually unwrap these scrolls using AI. Teams from around the world used a powerful combination of high-resolution X-ray scanning and sophisticated machine learning algorithms. The AI was trained to detect the faintest trace of carbonized ink and digitally flatten the scroll's layers. Their recent breakthrough, successfully reading entire passages of text, is more than just a discovery, it's a revolution. It proves we can now use artificial intelligence to recover the lost treasures of the past without ever physically touching them. The journey of deciphering ancient texts using AI is not only a technological revolution, but also a profound reminder of humanity's connection across time. The warnings from the past, whether about pandemics, disasters, or the collapse of civilizations, show that our ancestors also faced challenges no less severe. Knowledge and lessons from the past are never useless. Thanks to AI, we now have the key to unlocking that treasure trove, not only to understand history, but also to draw valuable experiences, helping us build a more resilient and wiser future. This is proof of the power of human intelligence when combined with technology to preserve and promote the common heritage of all humanity.